I remember back in the day when HBO used to do those world premiere movies that came on Fridays or Saturday nights. And those were great times indeed. Which brings me to 1993's Full Eclipse starring Mario Van Peeples. Now, back in 1987, we had a concept of RoboCop, half machine, half cop, he's RoboCop. Well, in this film, you have werewolf police officers. Now, at the time in the 90s, it sounded pretty corny, but I wouldn't say so much. I mean, we already had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we already had Power Rangers, and what's so funny is, I remember watching the behind the scenes on this back in the day, and someone said, wow, this is kind of like if we did X-Men. And fast forward, so 7 years later, we have the first X-Men movie, and 30 years later, well, like they say, the rest is history. Now, in this film, Mario Van Peeples plays as an LA cop, having trouble at home. Of course, as with all those movies back in the day, you had that one super cop that kicks ass, causes damage while, stopping the bad guys. Good old 1980s, 1990s, super cops, okay? And then he stumbles across this group of the Special Police Force, Task Force, mind you, led by Max Garrow, played by Bruce Payne. And one thing about Bruce Payne, along with, what's my guy's name? Julian Sands, the late Julian Sands of that, R.I.P. to him. Those two guys were always your main go-to guys when you needed a villain in one of these movies back in the 90s and 80s. Excuse me. But yeah, so here it is. He runs into Max Garrow. And for anybody that knows about the last name Garrow, it literally translates to wolf. And Garrow and his special force of police officers are werewolves, and they handle all the crimes that, the LAPD can't handle. And of course, Mario Van Peeples' character, he joins in on the action. But when he finds out that Garrow has other sinister motives, well, it's only a matter of time before these two, butt heads go fang to fang, tooth to nail, good old-fashioned, werewolf fighting, all that fun stuff. Now, this is one of those films that it's kind of hard to find it nowadays. I at least think that with it being a HBO film, it should have been on the Max app. But I do like the fact that there were practical effects, no CGI, and it worked very well. And being the fact that this is the month of Halloween, if I could find this film or ever run across it, I would definitely watch it all over again. And for anyone who's never seen this, if you love werewolf films, monster movies, action, all that fun stuff, I definitely recommend Full Eclipse, starring Mario Van Peeples. Just my thoughts, just my opinion, and as always, just saying.